mikanda, safari ya anza sasa. Jihadhari na anasa, ujana unakupita. Safari ya anza sasa, meli inang'oa nanga.
Waliocheza na maisha waliyapoteza, wahenga walisema majuto ni mjukuu.
Alim Selema,
Harija,
Alim Selema,
Harija,
Selema Selema,
Harija,
Selema Selema,
Harija,
Alim Selema,
Harija,
Alim Selema,
Harija,
Selema Selema,
Harija,
Selema Selema,
Harija. Katika dada, katika mama, katika kiuno, katika dada, katika mama, katika kiuno, katika. Waliocheza na maisha waliyapoteza, wahenga walisema majuto ni mjukuu.
In this session of Kenyan artists, we meet Sham and Gilbert. Sham and Gilbert both sing and perform and play for Orchestra Masika Afrika. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they are who we call real musicians. That doesn't mean we have fake musicians that we do. Plenty of those. But they are. Sham, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Welcome to KBC.
Asante.
And Gilbert.
Thank you.
Welcome as well.
Asante.
So Sham, first of all, convince me that you actually do rumba.
I think now if you want to be convinced, you need to come and see.
I need to come and see.
Yeah, see for yourself.
I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yes.
And Gilbert, what do you do for the band?
I'm a musician there. I'm a singer.
You're a vocalist?
Yes, a vocalist, yes.
So do you write music?
No, I don't, but
You
I'm
do?
learning.
But you're learning.
He's teaching me, yeah.
But Sham does write music.
Yes.
You compose.
Yes.
You sing as well?
Yes.
And what instrument do you play?
Lead guitar.
You play the lead guitar.
Yeah.
Tell us how you started getting into music. How did you decide not football, not cricket, not baseball, music?
I started music when I was about maybe 4 or 5 years old. Of course, in school as an extracurricular. My mom has always loved music. I think if she had the chance, she would have wanted to be a musician. And so she pushed me into music, or suggested. We started with piano classes, of course. In school, I went to a very musical primary school. And it just took off like that. And then I decided when I was about 10 years old that I want to be a musician. And I've stuck with it till now.
And right now, how many albums have you done?
With Orchestra Masika Afrika,
Yes.
this is our second album we're going to release.
What about by yourself or with another group?
So I used to have my own studio, and I've worked on little projects, but nothing that big. Yeah,
So Away, is Sham your official name or a stage name?
it's my name.
So who is Sham? Tell us. What are your hobbies? What do you like? What do you hate?
Sham is a musician, and my hobby is music. My job is music, so I guess I'm very lucky in that way.
You eat, breathe, dream music.
Yeah.
So these albums, how many songs do they have each?
So our first album was called Twende Africa, which we worked on in 2017. We released in 2017, and it had 9 songs. And the one which we've just done is called Dunia Ni Moja, and it has 8 tracks.
Which is your favorite there?
I think the second one. What I find is, so the band has been around for 4 years. We're on our 4th year right now. And we've grown together, we've grown as musicians. The first album was kind of like, let's make a mark. Let's show that we can actually compose music. Whereas right now, we've actually taken the time to sit down and really compose and arrange something serious. So of course, the second one shows a lot of growth. And that's where I'm.
How many are you in the band?
Right now we're 10 musicians.
And-
So it's a big band. It's a rumba orchestra.
Yeah, you called it an orchestra. I should have thought of that. And do you all compose, or are you the only composer in it?
There's several composers in the band. So when we did the first album, there were 6 of us, and all of us composed. And in the second time, it was the same 6 composers, but we added 1 or 2 more people. So we people, of course, have their ideas. We bring the ideas, we sit down together and we arrange them and so on. Yeah.
Artistic people are very sensitive. That must be quite some brainstorming session you have.
It can get very complicated, but I'm happy that we understand each other. And of course, with some direction, it works pretty well.
So your favorite, you said, is Twende where?
The second album, Dunia Ni Moja.
Dunia Ni Moja.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that song right now, Dunia Ni Moja. Maybe you can introduce that song for our listener.
So what I can say musically as a composer and arranger is that we look at African music. We look specifically at East African music, old school music. We look at Congolese music from like the 50s to 80s. And of course Latin music, Cuban music, because that's where most of this came from. So Dunia Ni Moja it's rumba with a Latin feel, I can say that. And we try to keep everything old school, and of course we make sure that our lyrics are meaningful. We don't just sing about, anything. So
keep that thought. We're coming back with, we make sure our lyrics are meaningful. We stick to old school because I want to know why. Here is Dunia Ni Moja.
Sababu ya dini, ingawa njia ni nyingi, mwisho ni moja. Tumejitenganisha na mipaka ya kimataifa, tumejitenganisha na lugha nyingi tofauti. Tusisahau dunia ni moja, dunia ni moja. Tofauti ya rangi ni kwa macho tu, damu yote ni nyekundu. Binadamu sote tumezaliwa sawa, usimdharau aliyekosa. Tusisahau dunia ni moja, dunia ni moja. Tusisahau dunia ni moja, dunia ni moja.
Masikini wa leo, tajiri wa kesho, wazee walisema mpanda ngazi hushuka, usimdharau mwenzako aliyekosa leo.
Kitukani jamaa husababisha kuchukiana, tupendane sasa, sisi sote ni binadamu.
Kubeba chuki moyoni kama kala moto, kabla umurushie mwenzako litakuchoma, utaungua kwanza.
Kitukani jamaa
Moja by Sham and Orchestra Masika Afrika. What is that song about?
Like the title says, the world is one. Dunia ni moja.
Are you talking to the human race?
In a way, yes. We talk about what separates us. It's very easy for small things to separate us. And we're just saying, don't forget that the world is one. And especially now, I think the way the world is going, the world has become a very small place. It's very cosmopolitan. So I think people need to embrace that.
Yeah, well, when we were in school, we were told the world would want to be a global village. Here it is.
Yep.
We are there, especially musically speaking. Music is a language that's universal. It's like mathematics. Is that what drew you to music? Because you could talk to anyone.
In a way, yes, I would say that. It's a very nice experience to share a musical moment with people you've never met who don't even speak the same language. But I think for me, it's just because I started so young. It's in my blood.
How do people react to the fact that you actually play Indian? Okay, you play rumba. Okay, I'm going to be very candid here.
Yes.
Sham is Indian. To find somebody in fact, that's why I wanted all your names. To find somebody from India who's not doing Benga music, who's not doing Lavana, who's not doing the classical Indian music that we know, and you actually go rumba is very interesting, really. And by the way, it's very welcome. So how did you decide to go rumba?
So the first thing I can say is maybe about identity. Yes, I'm Indian, but I don't relate to being Indian as much as other Indians would, I guess. Because I was born in London, I was raised there when I was young. I've grown up in Kenya, going to international schools. My parents are Kenyan, Indian, and same going back quite a few generations. So the environment I grew up around was very mixed. Of course, at home you have the Indian influence, you have the Kenyan influence. Going to school, you're going to school with people from all over the world. And so that kind of, you just become like a citizen of the world. You accept all the different cultures and things. And of course, people give me a lot of problems for saying, you're Indian, why are you doing these things? And I always challenge them because a lot of Indians here are not very Indian. When I went to India, I didn't feel Indian. I felt like a stranger. So my home is Kenya and I guess London.
Gilbert, let me come to you. You
Yes.
are a vocalist in the band.
Yes, I'm a vocalist in the band.
How many languages does the band use for its music?
Mainly Congolese and Swahili, and a little bit of Latin, of course.
And how do you handle that? Do you speak Spanish?
Not really. I don't speak Spanish, but most of the times I just have to learn. I just have to take my time to learn all those languages and to make sure, especially Congolese. To me, it's a hard language to learn. But
By Congolese, you mean Lingala, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because there are very many languages in Congo. Okay.
Lingala, of course, and because we do this most of the times Franco songs, so I have to learn the language and make sure that I perform.
The band performs live as
Yes.
well as records. Ever suffered stage fright, Gilbert?
Of course, sometimes it's there. You just feel like, it's too much today. And sometimes you're down. It's not always you're happy when you're on stage. So things come up. Just as a
Just a
human
bad day in the
being.
office.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How much does the energy from your audience affect your performance?
So it's interesting because, of course, it affects a lot. And what I see with my guys is that, when the bar is full of people who are loving the music, of course, the band will play better. Personally, I don't think that's a good philosophy to have because I feel like as musicians, we are in charge of setting the feel, the atmosphere of the day. And it's something I try to teach my guys as well. That even if there's no one there, you play the music because you want to play it how you want it to be. And then other people will enjoy. You can't depend on the audience enjoying and then you enjoy.
I've heard of dance like no one's watching. I don't know what people say, sing like whatever. I don't know whether there is a matching phrase for singing, not dancing. Challenges of a musician, challenges of doing music and using it as a career. What challenges are there?
I think the first thing I can say is that if you call yourself a professional musician, of course, most of the time it means that's your career, that's how you make a living. But I think there's also another part of that which a lot of people don't grasp, and that's the education and the time and the practice which goes behind that. And it's something I see lacking in this country. And of course, when you start music when you're young, you have the advantage of time. You have more time to learn and to get better. So at a younger age, you'll be better. Whereas for some people, it gets really difficult. So there are a lot of adults who try to be professional musicians. I think it's a lot more difficult for them because, of course, music is a language. You pick it up when you're young. It's a lot easier when you do it when you're young. So that's a big challenge. Financially, it's a very, very big challenge. I think we're very lucky that what we're doing has kind of struck gold, that we can make a living from it in Kenya. But of course, Kenyan music industry is very difficult to survive in. So that's another big challenge.
Do we really have a music industry in Kenya? I mean, be honest.
So in my opinion, and it's one of the reasons I'm leaving Kenya, it's a very depressing music industry. That you see some people who try really hard And then there are some people here who are really good and they don't succeed, or they leave the country to look for better opportunities. But majority of it, there is no industry, there's no support. Most of the artists do not produce quality music, in my opinion.
And unfortunately, they're the popular ones.
Yeah.
Well, very quality music.
Commercial music is not the industry we're in, about being flashy and, music videos and bling. We're actually in the actual old school music, grassroots music, I guess.
Okay, that's really depressing. Now let's go to the triumphs. I mean, when was it you produced a piece or something and the product gave you a spider down your spine?
I think the whole process, we started in 2015 and the band started after I came back from UK for a short trip. And then I think this also answers the why rumba question. So before that, I used to play reggae, I used to play jazz, all the music which we were trained in. But I realized, you can never play jazz better than Americans. You'll never play reggae better than Jamaicans. And back home, we have a music which the young generation doesn't play. And there's so much money in it, there's so much potential in it. It's proper African music. And so we took that, and I think that was the first moment. From the minute we started in 2015 and refined our goals and our aims, it started really hitting big. And of course, it has its challenges, like anything does. But right now, we're doing really well, so I'm very happy.
Fantastic. So another track on either of your albums, the two albums that you like, which one is it? Introduce it for us.
So I'm going to be selfish as a musician. There's one of the things which drew me to rumba is that it's not just about a singer. Most music is based on singers, and they forget about the musicians. So rumba is very balanced, and the first track on the album is called Jua La Jioni. It's more of like an instrumental. There's more focus on arrangement. So this is somewhere where I have a lot of fun.
So here is Jua La Jioni, that translated means sunset, I think.
Yes.
And by Sham and Orchestra Masika Afrika. Okay, what message are you going to give to anybody who has the power to influence Kenyan music and the musicians as well?
What I can say is for musicians, it's very difficult, but a lot is up to us. Because if you do not take your job like a job, and you just mess around and you're just drunk and just being flashy and they call it usani, stardom, if that's not gonna help anything get better. I think if musicians really took the time, because it's a lifetime journey, if they take the time to really study music and to know what they want, be original, be creative, we could get really far. And of course, the only way we can get far is by doing proper Kenyan music. So something which I see a lot is people are doing, Afro-fusion, Afro-jazz, and there's nothing really African about it because no one has gone back to the roots of where did this music come from. And it's an issue, I guess, which stemmed a long time ago. There was a lot of funk in Kenya. A lot of twist is kind of rock and roll copy. So we need to go back and find our roots and the Kenyan sound and be creative and then grow it from there.
That's a beautiful message, Gilbert. Yes. At the beginning of this session, Sham told us about doing East African music. Mm-hmm. Do you like that too? I mean, do you believe in what he says? Let's go back to the original, let's go back to our roots because that's what we are. Mm-hmm. We can't do jazz better than the Americans. Yes, we can't do reggae better than the Jamaicans. We will always be copying. Do you believe in that?
I believe in that. Africa is beautiful. You see, people from Europe, they want to go somewhere to rest and see beautiful things. They come to Africa. Africa is beautiful, and I believe it's high time we should embrace our culture. We should embrace where we come from, and I believe in his dream. That is why I joined the band 2 years ago, and since that day I've been enjoying really performing with them.
Did you audition him?
Of course.
Oh, you decide who has the voice to lead the band. And
yes, he did.
And he drew the long straw where it comes to that. What is it in music that blows you away? What is it that would cause you to close your eyes and even forget his instructions? I mean, what is that moment? What is that zone for you?
Well, one thing I believe in music is that you need to feel what you're doing. And whenever, especially in terms of words, while you're singing them and you're feeling like this is true me, this is the real me, and you start feeling the music, I believe that's the time whenever I enjoy the music myself.
This is Kenyan artists in the studio. We had Sham and Gilbert. They belong to Orchestra Masika Afrika. They sing and perform rumba. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Asante.
So, gentlemen, you have an event coming up. The reason you're actually here.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about it.
So we are having our second album launch. The album is called Dunia Ni Moja, and we're going to launch it on the 6th of June at Jay's Westlands at Thursday Night Live. That's Jay's Kitchen in Westlands. The show starts from 8 p.m. and entry is free. On the 8th, so the following Saturday, we also have an important function. Important to me because this is my farewell concert. So after founding the band in 2015 and going till now 2019 as the leader, I'm going to be stepping down and leaving it to them to continue.
Permanently?
Possibly, because I plan to leave the country and continue my musical journey in London. But for all of our fans, for everyone who wants to see rumba music, quality will be there, and my guys will continue at Karen Oasis every Friday and Saturday. So,
will you be following a musical career in London too?
I think the main thing is we started this band, and for me right now, at this stage in my life, a lot of what I do is just about learning. It's not about making money or actually even doing. So I'm very happy. I've had a very good experience in Kenya, but I feel like now I'm stagnating, and I want to try again overseas, and one day of course I'll come back. But music is just about learning. It's a lifelong journey.
Nilikufuga vizuri we, ndege wangu, nikakufanyia kila kitu. Umeniacha nao huzuni wingi sana. Nilikufuga vizuri we, ndege wangu, nikakufanyia kila kitu. Bado kaniacha. Umeniacha nao huzuni wingi sana. Kwenye kiota kila nikilitazama mie, chozi lanitoka kila nikilitazama mie, ninasononeka. Sasa nimeshaamua mie kuvumilia, siwezi kuishi na ya maisha
yenye matatizo,
Mungu anisaidie mie
kusahau.
Nimefika mwisho, maisha yamenipiga, nimeshajaribu sana. Nimefika mwisho, maisha yamenipiga, nimeshajaribu sana.
Sawa sawa,
Sitaki tena, nimechoka mie.
sawa sawa,
Nikirudi nyumbani sina amani.
sawa sawa,
Oh mama sitaki tena
sawa sawa,
nimefika mwisho.
sawa sawa.
Nimefika mwisho, maisha yamenipiga, nimeshajaribu sana. Nimefika mwisho, maisha yamenipiga, nimeshajaribu sana.